We all have that friend or that family member that anytime someone brings up an adaptation of a book, they dive into all the reasons why it was nothing like it. I am that friend and family member. Hey everyone, I'm Bunny Bouncer, and welcome to my rabbit hole of gaming and all things in the geekdom. Today, I wanted to talk about a subject that most of us book lovers don't talk about, which is, why are we so snobby? Because as much as it pains me to admit it, we are so snobby when it comes to our books. It causes me pain when I see someone mistreat a book. More so than gaming and entertainment, I am a geek for books. So what sparked my desire to do this video was actually a conversation I had the other day. The conversation was with my uncle, who is an avid book reader and book lover, and my dad, who is not a book lover at all. And the subject of adaptations came up. More specifically, the TV show The Legend of the Seeker. If you don't know The Legend of the Seeker, it ran between 2009 and 2010 and was based off of the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. And the Sword of Truth series is my favorite book series that has ever been. And of course, my uncle and I, we took the stance of, they did this wrong, they cast this character wrong, even though I loved the show. Like, I really, truly loved the show. It's in my top 5. I still saw all these differences, and I still pointed out all these differences, as did my uncle. And my dad made the comment, this is why they canceled the show. And he isn't wrong. Book lovers are super snobby. Even myself, and I don't think I'm as snobby as most other book lovers I've come in contact with. I enjoy people making their variations, and I enjoy adaptations, even if they're not how I picture them. And I'm still really snobby about it. But the funny thing about book lovers is we don't want people to stop doing adaptations. Because, again, I'm a fan of the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind, and I still wish they had continued Legend of the Seeker. Even now, in the fan groups I'm in, the constant conversation piece that always comes up is how we would like somebody to make it a show, and who our dream cast is. Henry Cavill as Richard Rahl, and Ana de Armas as Kaylin M. now. But the question still remains, why are we book lovers so bad? Honestly, we just can't separate the two things. We might enjoy them both, differences and all, but we will always compare them. And I'm pretty sure comic book fans do it, and gamers probably do it as well. But we book lovers are especially bad at it. Our really big problem, though, is we don't like people to make poor decisions when they make their own interpretations of the books. And we have, on average, 20 to 60 some chapter books to explain and express why we don't like those decisions. And we cannot. But personally, I think it's kind of justified in a lot of instances. Here's what I mean. Your choice in straying away from source material when making an adaptation was casting Josh Hutcherson as Peeta in the Hunger Games adaptation. If you don't know who Peeta is, have never read the books, know nothing about the story. First off, spoilers ahead. But here is essentially what the character was. He was a gentle giant who didn't like fighting, but he wasn't some weakling. He grew up a baker, and he was taught to protect people, and he had a natural inclination to take care of people and to help them. Through the books, he uses his personality and his charm to assuage people's moods and to stay away from fights, because he was big and he was strong, and he didn't want to abuse that and possibly become a bully. And this is who they picked to play him. Maybe he's a great actor. He was not a good actor for this. And in the movie, they had Alexander Ludwig, who was, in my opinion, the far better all-around choice to play Peeta. And they stuck him as Kato, who was the bad guy who was essentially playing the rival to Peeta. The reason why Josh Hutcherson was such a bad choice is because they were trying, I guess, to make him seem more sweet and less of the big, tough, strong male, and ended up making him just incredibly weak. So while the series did well, they ruined my favorite character. Because what people don't understand is when you're given a visual to something described in the books, no matter how horrible it is, from now on, that is what your mind goes to whenever you read the books. Hence why we book lovers get so upset about it. But on the flip side, when you make great casting choices like picking people who love and know the source material like Henry Cavill for Geralt of Rivia in The Witcher, we love those choices. We love the series for it. And you can make changes. You can stray from the source material. Take the decision to cast Anya Chalotra as Yennefer and to minimize Triss in the Witcher series. Who is Triss, you might ask? See if you can pick from these women. If you picked any of them, you'd be wrong. Because while this one is called Triss, she is not Triss. This is Triss. And if you aren't familiar with Yennefer or Triss, here's why the decision was smart. I have literally never spoken to anyone who has read the books or played the games and heard the phrase, "I love Yennefer," ever spoken. Meanwhile, Triss, animated Triss, got a Playboy spread in Poland because she is so beloved. The reason being is that Yennefer is a selfish character. Even when she does noble things, she's doing it for self-serving purposes. Versus Triss, who, even though she makes questionable decisions, she still tries to do what is right. She sees wrongs happening and she takes a stand against it, even if it doesn't actually help her. It just helps who the sorceresses consider to be lesser beings. She's not as charming and seductive as Yennefer, but because she's such a good character, people love her. However, spoiler alert, Yennefer, aside from the games, is always who Geralt picks. So if you're putting her in our show, it's going to kind of ruin the show to have everyone hate her. They changed the character and they humanized her, and they took some of the best and most heroic traits from Triss, and they mixed it in with Yennefer, and then they minimized Triss's role in the show. And they also picked an actress who did a really good job of portraying this new character that they had made, and made you feel for Yennefer. And they made me like the character. And that decision, that choice to stray from source material was such a good decision, even though I was dubious about it, that I now praise this show for it. But it's a decision like these, us snobby book lovers, we want to see. We want people to take creative initiative and to stray from source material. We just want you to do it well. We want it to be thought out. We want it to be something that is in keeping with the material taken from. We want to see the love and care taken. Now, I don't envy people who decide to take books and make them into movies. That is so rough. You're in for a lot of scrutiny when you do it. But it's also why I don't think books should be made into movies. I think they should be made into TV shows. Because books are so descriptive, and to a lot of people, it seems like it's just empty filler. But for us book lovers, it sets the mood, it sets the tempo, and it sets the entire feel of the story for us. And it just doesn't compute in a time constraint. So that is why us book lovers are so bad. There's something about seeing your favorite books poorly done on screen that it rubs you differently than anything else. Somebody can take a comic book that I love, or they can take a game that I love and make it into a poorly done show or a poorly done movie. Take Warcraft, for instance. Wasn't that great of a movie. I still enjoyed it. I still liked watching it. However, if they had done Witcher and ruined The Witcher, I would have been furious. I don't know what it is about books being made into adaptations versus anything else being made into an adaptation that it hits differently. And if you're a book lover, you understand me when I say that. And I can't explain why. Now, will us book lovers ever be more pleasant? Probably not. I wish I could tell you guys that we're going to change, but I believe in honesty. Comment down below and tell me your stories and experiences of why you think book lovers are so bad.